Hello. Um, we're live with another BS Busters podcast. Tonight's cast will be a solo cast, so probably won't go all that long. So we've got a list of topics to get through, and without much ado, let's get to it. So, topic one is what have I been playing lately? I'm going to add a new topic to this, which is what I've also been watching lately. So I binged Luke Cage last week over 2 days. So Friday, it came out Friday. I binged it, and then I just kept on going. And I enjoyed it. I really did. Um, and this week, Friday, I basically watched the incredibly badass Birth of a Nation. Um, and it is a hard film to watch, not because it's bad, but because it's a very visceral film. It's about the Nat Turner Rebellion, um, or should I say, people trying to find freedom from slavery. It's pretty harsh. It really tries to portray just how brutal and shitty um, slavery was during that time. Um, and I enjoyed it. I really did. I thought it was a very good. It was overall a very good film. It was very emotionally moving. Um, that being said, um, I guess I should move on to what I've been playing. Well, yesterday I downloaded on the Steam my pre-order for um, Mafia 3, which I've really been looking forward to. So I was quite happy about it. And it's really good. I mean, you wouldn't think Mafia 3 would be as good as it is, but it is really, really good. It basically, to describe Mafia 3, I would say take a really good Mafia film and then add, um, and then make it into a video game, and you have Mafia 3, because that's basically what it is. And I love it. It's fun. It's enjoyable. It's what you would call a very, very visceral game. Um, and there are parts of it that's really hard to watch, but overall, I really enjoy it. I haven't gotten that far into it yet. I've cleared the first few story missions, but I haven't really gotten to the part where the game really opens up and you can really go places and take over rackets and stuff like that. But from what I've played of it, the game kind of plays like a nicer version of it kind of plays like a nicer version of the Godfather game. From EA, that one that no one really played. It kind of plays like that. So let's see. Let's go on to the next topic. Is AAA game development? Is the roof on fire? What prompted this is an article from Amy Hennig, which is the lady who was instrumental in bringing Uncharted to the PlayStation. Uh, like she's the writer of it. And basically, I'm not going to read the entire article, but I'm just going to give you the gist of it. She says that the current the current way games are made in the AAA um, tier of games is unsustainable, and that at a certain point, it's going to have to break. And I have to say, I can't disagree with that statement. AAA game development is basically useless at this point. It's a useless. It's basically a waste of time at this point. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, they want AAA games, but AAA games are incredibly expensive with diminishing returns, because the only way they're going to make a certain amount of money is by skimping on one part and making it up on another part. And the thing is that what they're skimping on is the game development. So AAA games are, in order for them to use less money to make it, they're basically friggin' spending less on development and more on marketing to make their money back, and it's hurting the industry. So overall, AAA development isn't what it's all cracked up to be. But we've known this. If you pay attention to Bullshit Busters, you know that AAA development is a scam as it is right now. So with that being said, that article was one of my favorites, believe it or not. So I guess I'll move on to my second article, which is this is a little blurb that came off of some website. I can't remember which one, about how Phil Spencer basically says that the Xbox One marketing team originally were expecting the Xbox One to sell 200 million units, which is amazing because if you combine the sales, the actual sales of all three generations of Xbox consoles combined, they've never even gone over 100 million. And I know what some people are going to say, but the Xbox 360 sold, X amount of units. The Xbox 360, despite what the sales Microsoft may say about the Xbox 360, the Xbox 360 didn't really sell that much. I know people think it sold a lot, but it really didn't. Because you have to remember that it had the red ring of death, which Microsoft themselves internally counted as sales, but they weren't. They were replacements for shit that was broken. So, like, the Xbox 360 sold, 60, 70 million? So you have to take a third of that off and say, okay, those are people who basically were just we're getting replacement units, or multiple buys, or multiple buys of multiple consoles. So really, you have to cut that down to buy a third. So the original Xbox sold like under 20 million, let's just say 19 million. The Xbox 360 sold 50 million. So that's 75. And the Xbox right now has barely cracked 25 million. So, like, maybe just now they may have cracked a million, but probably not. So yeah, it was kind of a foolish thing for them to it was kind of a foolish thing for them to expect, especially Phil Spencer to think, oh well, I can just totally just fucking we're gonna crack 200 million units sold on a console that's the most expensive console on the market, doesn't have the best amenities, doesn't have backwards compatibility, and is just kind of clunky and not all the way there. So yeah, it's not surprising that the Xbox One struggled out the gate. So yeah, not surprising at all. So with that being said, I guess it's time to talk about our next topic, which is the Luke Cage on Netflix. Now, I'm going to keep it real. I have really been enjoying Luke Cage on Netflix. Really, really enjoying Luke Cage on Netflix. Anyway, yeah, I've been giving some real thought to the Luke Cage series, and the only thing I can say is that it's pretty damn good. Not perfect, but overall pretty damn good. Um, and looking at it, it's basically, for lack of a better term, it is essentially um, it's modern blaxploitation, which is a type of uh, film that had black people in the 70s basically playing roles they normally didn't play, leading men, leading women, and it's good. I mean, it's really, really good. I've not seen a film that basically was as good as this in a long time. Um, and I know it's technically a miniseries, but it's more of a film because there's a continuous thread going through, and there's a lot of content. There's a lot of fucking content in this series, and I'm quite happy about it. I'm quite happy that there's all this damn content in Luke Cage on Netflix. Um, if there is a downside to the Netflix series, it's that it gets a little preachy sometimes, just a little bit, just a little preachy. They're like, "Yeah, this is Crispus Attucks High School, and it means blah 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 blah." And it's like, okay, dude, I grew up in a household that's really happy and proud of, our African American heritage. So, yeah, I know quite a bit about. I know quite a bit about. Quite a bit about um, Black history. So I find it a bit bad to get all preachy sometimes about how it feels very Saturday morning cartoonish a little bit when they're like in the middle of the action. It's like, don't say that. This is Jackie Robinson Park. It's like, dude, I know about Jackie Robinson's contributions to American pop culture, um, and I think in some cases I've actually it did feel a little bit Saturday morning, but overall I enjoyed it. It was it was overall very well done, and I would have to say that the Netflix the Netflix show is worth watching, and I would advise more people to watch it, if not just for the sake of watching something that is for us. Like if you're African American, this is definitely for us. This is our show. Very much so. I mean, it's very African American centric. Yeah. And the music is good too. So yeah, it's a worthwhile watch. I would advise people to watch it. And I'll go into a more in-depth review of Luke Cage next week, where it'll be filled with spoilers. But this week, I'm only going to talk about how basically it's just really good, and more people should watch this shit, or else we'll make you pay. No, I'm joking. We're not going to make you pay, but it is very good. Um, so, second topic is, what comic book series could a Netflix style miniseries be good for? Now, I normally don't like second guessing people, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to second guess someone. I personally think that this is just me. I think that you could do a Monster of the Week style Netflix show for the Fantastic Four. I really do. And I think it would be really friggin' good. And I think if it was represented correctly and you had the right actors and told the correct stories, it could be really good. Do 13 episodes, maybe no origin stories, like no retelling. Oh, well, they went into space and blah, 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 blah. It would literally be just a new origin story. It would be the same origin story, the familiar origin story from Fantastic Four, but it would be like, it would be quick and to the point. Maybe told in a flashback, like maybe Reed Richards is talking to someone. He's like, well, it's because my friend was Ben Grimm. He lost his life. He transformed into a monster because of me. So I have to do what I have to do in order to help my friend. Blah 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 blah. I think that could be a really good angle. And then the entire series would lead up to a confrontation with Doctor Doom, because let's face it, Doctor Doom is basically the ultimate arch enemy of the Fantastic Four. There's like never been a villain as profound as Doctor Doom. So why run away? Why run away from that? And it would basically be a series of seemingly unrelated conflicts, Monster of the Week type stuff, but it's actually them leading up to them having this massive conflict with Doctor Doom, and I think that could be a really awesome series. But that's just me. And I think that would be a good Netflix series. I think that'd be a very good Netflix series. That's just my own personal opinion. I could be wrong. Um, I guess another series could maybe be I don't know. That's the only one. I can't think of any other um, series that would be really good with a um, Netflix style series, um, except for maybe, like I said, Fantastic Four, because they desperately need a series, and I think that they could be really friggin' good if they did a series in that manner, like a Netflix style series with the Fantastic Four. I think that could really work. But like I said, that's just my opinion. So our next topic is one that's also near and dear to my heart, which is let's see here. Uh, the fun topic. What movie, good or bad, would make a good video game? I expanded this a little bit in the question section. Um, what movie or TV show would make a good video game? Um, I'm going for an easy one. I personally think that, and this is just me, but I personally think that um, if you were to make a video game about the Marvel Netflix series, it would be like a beat 'em up, and I think that could actually work really well. Believe it or not, um, just have people get the shit kicked out of them and everything. Um, Made in the style of like a Final Fight or something like that. I think that could be a really good TV show. I mean, a really good video game. But that's just my own personal opinion. I could very well be wrong, but I'm probably not. And the reason I thought this could really work is because I recently was playing Final Fight, and there are parts in the game where you basically are walking down a hallway beating up people. And since Netflix has a hard on for having people fight in a hallway, why not have a beat 'em up where you just, go through a series of shit and fighting people in hallways and shit? I mean, they really like doing that in the Netflix series, so why not? Why not keep it rolling? Um, but that's just my own personal opinion. I could very well um, about whether or not that'd be a good idea, but I personally think it would be a good idea. But that's just me. Um, our next topic. Um, ah, and this is an addendum fun topic. And a lot of indies taking the place of mid-tier developers and publishers. What indie game are you looking forward to in the next few months of playing? Oh boy, I've got quite a few. Um, I'm looking forward to um, Shadow Warrior 2, which comes out in about 5 days. Yeah, 5 days. Really looking forward to that game. It comes out Tuesday. I'm looking forward to it. Shadow Warrior is essentially, for lack of a better term, it's essentially a redo of a remake of an old Duke Nukem knockoff game. Um, well, not really a knockoff. They used the same engine as Duke Nukem back in the day, but it was actually an entirely different game. It was called Shadow Warrior. I'm really looking forward to it because I played the first one and it was really fun. It was like a throwback to old school Duke Nukem stuff like that, and it's a parody, and I love it. I love how much fun it is to have a parody like this. Um, yeah, the game is pretty good. It's not perfect. It's pretty good. It gets the job done. Um, and the sequel is promising to be more of to give you more content, um, different shit going on. So I'm looking forward to that. And it comes out in a few days, and I pre-ordered it. Got the little special edition for it because while I try not to be a sucker for special editions, this one had some cool swag that came with it. So I was like, you know what, you got me. I'm a sucker. So yeah. um, and that's let's see. I think those are all the questions. Let me check. Yeah, that's those are all the indie games I'm looking forward to coming out in the next few days or few months. Is that I mean, I would add ukulele, but I don't know when ukulele is going to come out. It might get pushed back, so I don't know. An indie game I'm actually kind of looking forward to is um, it's probably not going to come out for a bit, but that I'm looking forward to is Psychonauts 2. I recently saw a prototype um, of them working on some of the like early builds for it, getting some of the retextures, and I was looking at Camp Whispering Woods and yeah, no Whispering Rock, and it looks really good. The new engine they're using to create the game, it looks really good. It looks like a modern interpretation of the sixth gen game, and it looks really good. And I know a lot of people don't like Tim Schafer, but um, Double Fine makes good games. So I mean, at the end of the day, you might not like the person you might not like um, the person who's cooking the food, but if the food is good, you can't really get too mad. Um, so with that being said, that's the end of this BS Busters. It was quick. It was to the point. It was less than 30 minutes, which I mean, this is a short one, but it was just me. I guess normally the more guests I have, the longer this shit goes. So, with that being said, we've covered all the topics, and no one has left any questions that I can see. So, I guess we're done for the night. Um, I'll check our question section once, see if anyone left any questions of any pertinent value. Nope, nothing of any pertinent value. So, um, I guess that's the end of this video, and um, time to go. I bid you guys a good night and adieu.